things there.
Okay.
I don't see Gordon, but you can call him.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call the Broward Delegation meeting to order. So just a few things. First of all, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for coming to our Broward Delegation meeting, and we welcome you here to the city of Miramar at Miramar High School. Just a few things before we get started. I ask that everyone please silence your cell phones. The microphones are live, and this meeting is being recorded and live streamed. We have 9 local bills being presented for discussion and vote tonight. Therefore, we may be unable to get to any speakers who sign up tonight on matters other than local bills. Each presenter has 2 minutes to present unless otherwise. At this time, housekeeping rules, the public restrooms are in the main lobby. And members, there is a restroom backstage to your left. So those are just a few housekeeping rules. At this time, we're going to have the Army JROTC and the pledge and the welcome led by Kayla Bergeron.
Please stand for the presentation of colors by our Miramar High JROTC and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Good afternoon and welcome to Miramar High School. Please give a round of applause to our wonderful JROTC Color Guard. under the direction of our wonderful Colonel Eaton. I would like to share a bit with you about the amazing opportunities Miramar High School has to offer. On behalf of Principal Ms. Formoso, we would like to welcome you all. Miramar High School has the largest international baccalaureate program and the only aviation program in the county. We offer 13 different career and technical education programs, starting from culinary arts, web design, and computer programming. We even offer floral design, web design, marketing programs, engineering. We also started a health and wellness program aimed to engage students interested in careers in the healthcare field. We also have the only criminal justice program in the county funded by its city. The city of Miramar gave us a whopping $168,000 to start our criminal justice program. Thank you, City of Miramar. We also started a dual enrollment program where students can take courses from Florida International University, Broward College, and Embry-Riddle right here on our campus. We currently offer 22 college courses, and last year we had students leave Miramar with over $15 million in scholarships and over 700 industry certifications. Some students with more than 2 years of college completed when they graduated last June. Our opportunities here at Miramar High School are not just limited to academics. We have over 60 different clubs and organizations, everything from band, basketball, student government, DECA. We have art, drama, chorus, athletics. We have football, basketball. We have bowling. We have softball and baseball, and the list goes on. We are extremely proud of the legacy we have, where we traditionally graduate over 90% of our students. At Miramar High School, it is our belief and our philosophy that all students will leave here college and career ready. We have also received incredible resources through our Smart Bond initiative. We have new laptop carts in 98% of our classrooms. We have a brand new track and turf on our football field. We have a new weight room, and in progress, we have a new band room coming, chorus room, art lab, and media center. We cannot wait for that. Our facility will finally match the magic of Miramar High. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, and we have a little treat for you all. We have our soldier band from Patriot Land introducing to you all our drum line and our auxiliary groups, and guess what? They are superior rated. Please give us a round of applause for our amazing Patriot Band. that is what superior rated auxiliary and drumline looks like. Thank you, Soldier Band from Patriot Land. We appreciate you.
Let's give the band another hand. Thank you so much, Assistant Principal Bergeron. At this time, members, we are going to start with Secretary Mayhew, who's here from ACA, who's here. We're happy to have you here, Secretary, and you can come approach the podium. Yes. Oh, sorry. 1 second, Secretary Mayhew. I apologize. We need to do roll call real quick.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer. Here. Senator Brannan. Here. Representative Williams. Here. Representative Lamarca. Representative DuBose. Representative Omfroy. Representative Jacobs. Representative Daly. Here. Representative Gottlieb. Representative Jenny. Here. Representative Geller. Representative Pritchett. Here. Representative Polo. Here. Representative Stark. Here. Representative Rodriguez. Vice Chair Thurston. Here. Chair Jones.
Here.
Thank you, Ms. Nye.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon again, members, and to our guest who's here for our Broward Legislative Delegation local bill hearing. We're going to start off with Secretary Mayhew, who is here from ACA. Secretary, you're recognized for your presentation to the delegation. No.
And then just to demonstrate our commitment and interest in engaging constructively and collaboratively with you so that we achieve our mutual goal to protect our most vulnerable residents in this state. So thank you very much for the opportunity. There are a number of facilities here who I know many of you may already have heard from, but certainly they have their own examples to share of where they are in the process. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Secretary Mayhew. We have a question from Senator Brannan and then Senator Thurston.
Thank you, Sec. Testing, testing. Testing, testing. You testing? Do you hear it now? All right. Everybody can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, it's good to be here. Secretary, thank you for coming. Is there anything that you can think of that we up here could do, or that anybody, even some of the people that in the audience could do to help you get from the 10 that we have to get to a higher number? And also, do you have any idea when we may get those 24 that are in the process, when they may get finalized?
So, following Dorian, one of the comments that I have made and have shared with the facilities is that I'm going to be very reluctant to extend the variance from the rules beyond the end of this year, the end of December, just given where we are. We certainly don't want to begin another hurricane season with any measure of doubt. I do want to emphasize that while I am focused here and sharing with you their compliance with the rule, even if they have a variance from the rule, these facilities either have a permanent generator, a temporary generator, or have arrangements to bring a generator on site in the event of an emergency. So I do want to reassure. So there is a difference between are they ready for an emergency versus this new level of expectation under the rule. What I would say is that if we can share some of the specifics with you, maybe engage around some of the specific examples, just to understand, while we respect and appreciate some of the issues that have surfaced locally, there is clearly this challenge between our statewide timeline and expectations and the local permitting. Again, incredibly important, understand the significance of the risks associated with these large generators, the fuel storage, but you know well some of the issues and expectations locally. So I do think that we need to turn to you for your guidance and assistance for how we can help these remaining facilities get through this process.
Mr. Chair.
Yeah, please.
Well, I just want to offer myself and my staff that when we are, if there are some that are in any of my cities, and I even have one of my Mayor Orders here, that we could do anything to help. If there's some in our district, please let us know and have your office contact us.
Well, I really
And
appreciate
I would recommend to most of my colleagues if we could do the same, because this is such an important issue. And I know we spoke, well, your office spoke with me a little earlier, so happy that you came.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Brannan. Senator Thurston? And then Representative Pritchett.
Test. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Madam Secretary, thank you for your report as well. We've heard from a number of the nursing home and assisted living facilities, and they are somewhat concerned about some of the local restrictions and additional obligations or hoops that they're jumping through with some of the local municipalities. Has your office been able to help with any of that?
Well, we certainly are trying to reinforce where there is any confusion between the requirements of the statewide regulation and where there has been any potential misinterpretation of that rule locally. We certainly are weighing in and being helpful. There is no doubt there is a balancing act between the statewide requirement and our respect for local decision-making, local control, local permitting, and certainly the fact that all emergencies are managed locally. But as you know, and I'm sure as you've heard, because of some of the differing expectations and requirements, it is creating some either confusion or inconsistency, but certainly is contributing to lengthier processes than we have seen in other parts of the state. It doesn't mean that these expectations aren't valid. It's just we all want to make sure that we have peace of mind and that those who are in assisted living facilities and nursing homes and that their families can have peace of mind. So we all just want to make sure that there's really robust problem solving occurring. And so I think if we can continue to present some of these specific cases to all of you and seek your help and guidance for improving the process, we're all ears.
Follow, Mr.
Yeah,
Chair.
you please.
And just, do you have an idea, is there a drop dead date or a date that you expect to have the compliance?
Well, we will be over 2 years. We are over 2 years from the emergency rule. There were certainly changes that occurred subsequent to that. So the final rule was adopted in March of 2018. We will be obviously fast approaching 2 years at that point. We certainly do not want to detract from the sense of urgency, but we continue to be open-minded to some of the significant challenges. When a city or a county, when there are certain requirements placed upon the facility that requires a level of custom design to the generator, you I'm sure can appreciate how long that then takes to have that generator built, and then all of the other issues that then occur when it is ready to be installed, from coordinating on the electrical to the carpenters that need to be on site. So we are really pushing to move forward as quickly as possible. As I've said, I'm reluctant to grant many additional variances beyond the end of this year, but obviously I want to see that there's been a good faith effort to come into compliance.
Last question.
Yes,
Mr.
please.
Chair. And Madam Secretary, again, I want to thank you for this presentation on this critical issue for all of our communities across the state. But I also would like to have an opportunity for you to come back before us again, because there's some other health care issues that we would love to have an opportunity to talk to you about.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will come back anytime. I have had the pleasure and the privilege of visiting a number of facilities here in Broward County and across the state, and there is much to be discussed, and it has been incredibly helpful. I am impressed with the amazing work that is underway, but there are certainly a lot of issues around fragmented care delivery that I look forward to talking with you about and working collaboratively on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Representative Pritchett?
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and thank you very much, Madam Secretary, for being here. While we certainly appreciate the information as it relates to the nursing homes and the skilled care facilities, can you please speak with us for a moment or two regarding the dialysis centers and where they stand in terms of compliance and requirements during any catastrophic events, please?
All of these facilities are required to have a comprehensive emergency plan that must be reviewed and approved locally through the Emergency Operations Center. We can certainly get you, and I apologize for not having that, but we can absolutely get you all of that information as well specific to this county. So happy to provide you with that information.
Mr. Chair,
Please.
please. Yes, thank you very much. And thank you very much, because that too can be life-threatening, and we never hear any conversation about the dialysis centers, and certainly we would like to know if there is something we can work with you on to ensure legislatively even those kinds of centers are covered. We think they are, we are not sure, and that is where your input would be so helpful to us. So would you please provide all of the information through the chair to all of us?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We will try to paint perhaps a broader picture as it relates to many of the vulnerable individuals who either depend upon those services or are in smaller group homes, to better underscore where we are today and where there still may be areas of concern and gaps in terms of the approach to the emergency preparedness.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And Madam Secretary, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Representative Pritchett. We have Representative Williams and Senator Farmer. Here you go.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On the 32 assisted living facilities and the one nursing home that has not complied, it seems to me 2 years has been a long time for them not to be in compliance. How much time would you continue to give them to reach that compliance stage, and at what point would you do some type of penalizing toward them for not being in compliance?
And thank you. And we have today issued fines. I don't have, but can certainly provide to you whether any of these facilities, I would say that this is a point in time. So it is possible that we had a variance at one point from any of these facilities, but it has subsequently expired. But we can get you more information on whether any of these have received any sanctions or fines. But completely agree with you, and that is the process that we are going through right now in terms of, if we do not have a variance, we are continuing to look at and implementing fines and then clearly beyond that, we will have to start exploring whether or not their licenses need to be suspended.
Could you please provide that information through the chair to us, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Senator Farmer?
Thank you, Chair. Madam Secretary, good to see you again. Thank you for your time last week on developmental disabilities.
Absolutely.
Appreciate our meeting. Look forward to going forward. With regard to hospitals, nursing homes, ALFs, et cetera, that need this generator, has ACA been part of any discussions with any other agencies with regard to the issue of ensuring that we have enough fuel to operate all of these generators should we be hit by a major storm where maybe some of our ports or refineries are impacted?
Great question. We certainly have been working and did see throughout Dorian a level of statewide collaboration across a number of agencies, but specifically to anticipating that concern, I'd want to talk to other individuals to make sure that I understand all of the different contingency plans that are thought through the Department of Emergency Management, which really would be overseeing and helping to facilitate access. But that clearly is something that we talked about during Dorian, and I'd be happy to get back to you about some of the specifics around that planning.
Please.
Yeah, in the Northeast, I know some states have enacted strategic fuel reserve programs. It's a complicated issue. You can't just sit on a lot of fuel for a long time. It evaporates, it degrades, et cetera. But it would seem to me that's a critical component of ensuring that this generator program can actually work to save lives and protect people, as I said, in the event that we get in a fuel shortage situation. So hoping we can look into that.
Absolutely, and we'll add that to the list of information.
Thank you, Senator Farmer. And members, are there any other questions for Secretary Mayhew? Secretary, thank you so much for coming
Thank you,
today.
and I'll be happy to come back.
Please.
Thank
we
you very
welcome
much.
Thank you so much. Members, at this time, we are running just a tad bit behind. So what we're going to do is, I do see our property appraiser here, Marty Kier, who's here. So we're going to allow to come and do his presentation. And we will continue to move as quick as possible so we can get to the Pembroke Pines presentation. And right after, we will get to the local bill. Right.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. I promise I will be very fast. I know you probably don't believe me when I say that, but I will. I actually only have really two pieces of legislation I wanted to talk about. But first, I want to thank you all so much for the great work that you all do. You know what? I really believe that we have the best delegation in the state of Florida right here in Broward County. And I think you all do a fabulous job, not just representing Florida, but also Broward County. So thank you all very much for that. And the two pieces of legislation that we're really following that we strongly support, I think would be excellent for the people, and not just of Broward County, but for Florida if they pass. And as you know, in our job is to determine the value of all property in the county, whether it's residential, commercial, tangible personal property, or centrally assessed property, which are railroads. And the reason that's important is because when people pay their property taxes, the amount of taxes they pay is a relationship between the value of the property that we set and the tax rate set by our local governments. So the higher the value of the property, the more taxes folks pay. The lower the value of the property, the lower amount of taxes they pay. And one thing that falls under values is we're given the opportunity to provide tax-saving exemptions to the residents of Broward County that are also homesteaded property owners. And under that, portability falls under that. And portability is an excellent program that gives people the opportunity to move from one home into another home and not be taxed at that home. And here's the way it works. Once you bought your home, you filed for homestead. And when you did that, it capped the value that you're taxed on every single year at either the 3% or the consumer price index. So over time, the value that you're taxed on stays low while your market value gets much higher. Well, what you can do if you want to buy a new home and have a new homestead, you can take up to $500,000 of that value from your previous homestead, move it to your new homestead, and not pay taxes on it. It gives people the opportunity to move to another home and to be able to afford that home. Now, the only problem with portability is there's a short time frame from which to utilize it. And if you don't utilize it within that time frame, then you lose out on all the savings that you can transfer over. And right now, under the Florida Constitution, it is 2 tax years. And for our purposes, a tax year starts on January 1st. So that means, let's say somebody sold their home right now. If they sold their home today, which is almost November, they would basically have 1 year and 1 month to establish their new homestead and transfer all of that portability savings over, or else they would lose it and they would pay property taxes on the full value of their new home. Well, there's been an excellent Senate Joint Resolution filed by Senator Brandis, which is Senate Joint Resolution 146, and there's a House Joint Resolution 369 that was filed by Representative Roth. There are 2 implementing bills that they filed as well, which is Senate Bill 148 and House Bill 371. And all that will do is just increase the time to be able to utilize portability from 2 tax years to 3 tax years so that more people can take advantage of that very important savings. And I just wanted to let you know, it's actually on the in the Senate on the Committee for Senate Committee Community Affairs on November 4th at 4 p.m. Would very much appreciate you all getting behind this. I think it would be a great thing for the people of Florida and also for Broward County. The other bill that I wanted to bring up, and just very briefly, as you know, our first responders are definitely American heroes. And under the Florida Constitution, any Florida first responder that is totally and permanently disabled and their disability as a result of their service is entitled to a full property tax exemption. Now, you had to have been a Florida first responder at the time of your disability to receive that exemption at this time. Now, when it was passed by the voters in the Constitution, it didn't make that distinction. It didn't say you had to be a Florida first responder. So there have been there's been a Senate Bill 484, and House Bill 281 that would expand the definition to basically say that if you are a first responder and you're 100% totally and permanently disabled, and your disability is a result of your service anywhere in the country, if you move to Florida and you make it your homestead, you're fully exempt from paying property taxes. I would love to see that passed, because I have to tell you, one of the saddest things I have to tell people is that I'm sorry, I thank you for your service, but you don't qualify because you weren't a Florida first responder. I even had to tell that to a first responder that was on ground zero at 9/11, that became totally and permanently disabled, that made Broward County their home, that they didn't qualify because right now Florida statutory law wouldn't allow them. And so that is Senate Bill 484, filed by Senator Simmons, and House Bill 281, followed by Representative Hattersley. With that said, I'm sure other bills will probably creep up. And I just want to thank you all, because everybody here has been such a great partner to our office, and you've all been so good at calling us and talking to us about legislation when it pops up in your committees. And I just really appreciate how open and the fact that you all give our office so much access. With that said, Mr. Chair, does anybody have any questions?
Are there any questions, members?
Well, I want to thank you all so much, and I think, Bobby, it was your anniversary recently. Happy anniversary. And I'm very excited to see Dan Daly sitting up there. I think you worked so hard at it. And I just want to thank you all once again for your great service. Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Okay, members, at this time, we do have Pembroke Pines Charter who's here, because our other two constitutional officers are not here. So that presentation has just put us back on track. Just to give you just a tad bit of background of the area in which we're going into, and then we'll go into the local bills. Pembroke Pines Charter School had a local bill up, and the bill was pulled because it lacked a bill sponsor at the time. It started with a bill sponsor, and now it does not have a bill sponsor. And so we did check with with the attorney, and because it doesn't have a bill sponsor, it cannot be presented. I think many of you are familiar with the local bill, but Andrea just sent it to me, just so you all could be aware. Thank you so much. This local bill that was presented by the Pines Charter was an act relating to the school district of Broward County, Florida, requiring the distribution of revenue derived from levy of tax millage levied pursuant to statute 1011.712 and 9, Florida statutes to include charter schools on a per student basis allocation, providing an effective date, and it goes on from there. So we did allow Pines Charter to come to address the delegation. They have 5. They have 4 speakers, and then the district, John Sullivan, who is here, will respond to what comes out from Pines Charter. So we're going to start off with City Manager Charlie Dodge. We're going to recognize him for 3 minutes. Lisa Lebedinsky. We're going to recognize her for 3 minutes. Peter Bayer, we'll recognize him for 3 minutes. Sean Chance, we'll recognize him for 3 minutes. And then John Sullivan, we'll recognize him for 3 minutes. All right? And so that's the order. And then we will leave time for members for you to be able to ask questions to either Pines Charter or to the school district. So we'll start off with City Manager Charlie Dodge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the delegation. My name is Charlie Dodge. I'm the city manager of Pembroke Pines. Chairman Jones explained what the bill was about. I will not repeat that. But we're here today because we had submitted that proposed bill because we felt it was very important for equity. As you know, we believe the money of taxpayer dollars should follow the child, because our parents who have chosen the choice of a public charter school over a traditional school pay property taxes, and we believe those dollars should be shared on an equal basis. We have 565 employees and approximately 6,000 students in 4 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. Our teachers are represented by the Broward Teachers Union, and they also participate in the Florida retirement system. We are unique because we are municipally owned and we are municipally operated. It's a different type of charter school that you normally see. The bricks and mortar, all of those were funded through bond issues for the city. What we need to do, because of the inequity in the funding, there's a shortfall or a disparity in funding of almost $4.8 million from what our taxpayers pay for public education from what they receive for their children who have chosen that school. And with the most recent bond issue that passed, the $500,000, that brings it up to almost $7 million difference. You're going to hear from several of our principals regarding who we are, what we have been able to accomplish to talk about that. We're looking to resolve these funding issues. We have met over the last 10 or 12 years, every year with our Broward County School Board staff members, describing what the issue are, asking for consideration for the types of schools that we offer based upon what we've been able to accomplish. We have yet to be able to get a forum before, in a public setting, before the Broward County School Board to even debate this issue. We get cut off at the legs before we even have public debate. We felt our only recourse was to come to you to see if there is something in a local bill that could address this issue. So we are looking at close to $7 million difference. We want to take those dollars and make the teachers within our school system have equitable pay to what their counterparts, their other Broward Teacher Union who represent them, to get similar salaries. That's very important to us. I would like at this time not to take up too much of your time, but would like to invite all of you, either collectively or individually, to tour our facilities to see first-hand action and witness the benefits and quality of our charter schools. If the proposed bill, which did not make the consideration for this upcoming legislative session, is resubmitted in the future, we ask for your support in this matter. And I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, City Manager Dodge. And what we'll do is we'll go through all the speakers and then allow the members to ask questions at large. So you can sit right there, Mr. Dodge, in the front if you like. Lisa Libedinsky, she is the Pembroke Pines FSU Elementary Charter School Principal. Ms. Libedinsky, you are recognized.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me. It is my pleasure to tell you a little bit about the Pembroke Pines Florida State University Charter Elementary School. Our school opened in 2003 as a developmental research school and professional development school with Florida State University. The FSU campus became the 4th elementary school in the Pembroke Pines charter school system. Currently, we have 699 students, and we serve students in grades kindergarten through 5th grade. The school also has a Center for Children with Autism that is a self-contained class for students with autism and related disorders. The objective of our Center for Children with Autism is to provide a quality, individualized educational program while promoting access to the general education curriculum. Our program focuses on academic and social skills, and our goal is to mainstream the students to general education classes while still receiving the support needed to be successful. We also have a very strong gifted program that provides enrichment for students who need to be challenged academically. The students participate in project-based learning that allows them to think critically and enhance their learning. Our school is unique as the students are admitted to the school through a thorough lottery process. This is based on ethnicity, socioeconomic status, and gender, resulting in a very diverse population that is conducive for research. We try to maintain the target percentages based on the demographics of Broward County. As a developmental research school, our school works collaboratively with Florida State University. Through this partnership, several initiatives have taken place throughout the years. The school has hosted interns from the university, and several professors have conducted research at our school that allowed our teachers and staff to learn from the experience. We also have several professors and personnel from Florida State University who serve on our school's advisory board. High academic standards are maintained in our school, and we truly emphasize the whole child. We know that our school continues to make a difference in the lives of the children that it serves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lebedinsky. Mr. Peter Bayer, who is the Pembroke Pines Academic Village Middle and High School Principal. You're recognized, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I am Peter Bayer. I'm the principal at Pembroke Pines Charter High School, which is a college preparatory high school of over 2,000 students. And we begin each morning with the same mantra: college, citizenship, and community. As a college prep school, we have a 99% graduation rate, but our internal numbers show that over 90% each year go on to a college or university, and that's with a very, very rigorous curriculum. But we are also very involved with the community. As a municipally run charter school, that is our nature, but all of our parents have to volunteer for 30 hours a year, and by their nature, they are very, very involved with our success and seeing their children succeed. In fact, last year, we were recognized by the Florida Department of Education with the Family and Community Involvement Award, which is an award that is only given to one high school or one secondary school in each of the 5 areas of reporting districts for them. But perhaps I'm most proud of our citizenship. And the perfect example of that is the way we recognize our honor students. We don't do what the traditional valedictorian and salutatorian schools do, although we do still keep class rank. We follow the Latin system, which is the cum laude system: magna cum laude, summa cum laude, and cum laude. And those students in the top 5 and 10 and 15% are given the opportunity to apply for the Jaguar Pride Scholarship, but they have to prove that they were more than smart. They have to show that they were part of their community. They have to show that they were part of the school, that they have something important to say to their fellow classmates. And they go through a very rigorous application process that includes a mock speech. They write an essay, they get letters of recommendation, and they go before a panel for interviews. Those winners, there's only 2, are selected to speak in the traditional roles of valedictorian and salutatorian. But we feel like it's a better representation of the class, it's a better representation of what we want as a school, and it's a better representation of what we want as a community. And as a result, that drives our culture throughout our school, and it sets the tone for what we are trying to mold our children into. Of course, being smart is great, but we don't want them to lose their moral compass along the way. In my 20 years at Pembroke Pines Charter High School, I have in fact seen all schools in our area show great improvements. You just heard from Assistant Principal Bergeron earlier the great things that are happening here at Miramar High School. I would like to think, without taking any credit away from them, but I would like to think that some of that was the catalyst of the evolution of the Pines Charter Schools. Because if you think back to the 1990s when I was working with Broward County School Districts, I can't remember Miramar High School having nearly as many of those great accolades that they have. They're doing a fantastic job. I think all of the local schools in this community are doing a fantastic job currently. And I would like to hope that part of that was created by this friendly competition, the respectful rivalry that we have between our schools that makes us all better and in turn makes our community better. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bayer. We have Sean Chance, Pembroke Pines Central Campus Elementary and Middle School Principal. Dr. Chance, you're recognized.
Thank you, but I don't want to take anything away from all the people who work so hard to get their doctorate. So, but thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity today to speak to all of you. I have the unique opportunity to share with you a little bit about the City of Pembroke Pines Charter School System. We believe in empowering our students for the possibilities of tomorrow. You know, we have about 33% free and reduced lunch, about 30% African American, and another close to 50% Hispanic students. So we have a diverse population, as Dr. Lebedinsky mentioned earlier. All of our charter schools are fully accredited, the entire system through Cognia, which you know is previously known as Advanced Ed. All of our schools are A-rated. Our middle school since 2001. our elementary school since 2002, our lab school since 2004, and our high school since 2008. We have schools that have been recognized as National Blue Ribbon. In 2009, one of our schools was recognized, another one in 2015. In addition to all of our schools having been recognized by the state of Florida as schools of excellence, which is based on our school grade and maintaining the high level of academic performance. These recognitions do not tell the whole picture. I'll tell you a little about each level. At our high school, we are ranked in the top 5% of combination schools and high schools in the state, maintaining over 80% proficiency in all 4 core subject areas. According to Niche, we're not only the top 8% of public high schools in the state of Florida, but the top 8% of college preparatory high schools in the state of Florida. Our middle schools, #1 public middle school in Broward County based on the school grade, number 26 in the state of Florida based on school grade. And we've been the top one in Broward County for the last 3 years. According to Niche, we're in the top 4% of public schools in middle schools in the state. And once again, over 80% proficiency in all core subject areas. Our elementary schools have maintained the same 80% proficiency in ELA and math, top 15% of public elementary schools in the state of Florida. Our lab school, recognized by Niche as the best public school teachers in the state of Florida. Also, the 5th best public elementary school in the state of Florida. But we're not only a school that is based on academics, but we teach the whole child. Hence, we've been recognized as also having the #1 boys and girls middle school sports program in Broward County. Our band programs have received superior ratings for 17 years running. Our robotics program was a recipient of the Build Award in 2018 VEX World Championship. You've also heard some of our accolades and things that we've done from Mr. Bear at our high school. These are just a few of the many things that we do. We hope that you will hear us and hope that we can get that additional funding so we can continue to do more of the great things that we continue to do at the Pembroke Pines Charter School. And we believe that we teach all kids and we're empowering them for the possibilities of tomorrow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chance. At this time, we will have John Sullivan from the district who will come and, John, just to be fair, because there was 4 of them, so we'll give you a tad bit more time for the rebuttal to the district.
I appreciate that. I'll be quick. Today's school board. Well, first of all, welcome to Miramar High School. We glad you guys chose our school to host your delegation meeting. We hope you do so again. Just wanted to mention the reason why you're not seeing the superintendent up here. It's a school board meeting day, so he's over there along with our school board members. They did want to send their greetings though, and thank you all for everything that you do for us. Part of his senior staff is here with us, Judy Marte. She's our CFO, so wanted to recognize her as well, and she's on hand if there's any questions. I'm going to, before I start though, I did want to thank the City of Pembroke Pines. We do have various partnerships with them, and we do work collaborative on many issues, so I do want to thank them for their continued partnership. So during the 2017 legislative session, and I'm going to address, there's both capital and the referendum, so I'm going to address both separate as quick as possible. So during the 2017 legislative session, although I don't believe anyone on this stage voted for it, HB 7069 mandates that the district share with charter schools, which would also include Pembroke Pines Charter, in any given year that the legislature fails to fully fund PICO dollars. The first year they didn't fully fund, so we had to make up that difference. These past 2 sessions, they have funded it, so we have not had to make up for that difference. But that is a formula that's in there. If there's no state funding and PICO dollars, the district has to make up those funds. And I bring up PICO dollars because the last 2 years, I believe, the district has received $0 in PICO dollars. Pembroke Pines Charter received about $2.6 million in PICO. We did not receive any of those PICO funds. Currently, the district has over $3 billion in deferred maintenance. That's primarily due to the fact that the legislature reduced our millage from 2.0 to 1.5, so that's why you see such a large number in deferred maintenance. That's one of the reasons why we had to go out to the voters to make up for those loss of funds. We did, and so in 2014, that was our Smart Bond program. We did include charter schools in that program, the technology piece. Over $10 million went to charter schools Pembroke Pines itself received $1.5 million of those funds. And again, that commitment was for technology. The reason why the board felt technology was appropriate, the district owned it, so if any charter school would fail, we can revert back that technology to the taxpayers, other students, other schools. We did not include them in the other capital aspects because the vast majority of charter schools, their facilities are privately owned. Another issue, I know it's just a proposal since there's no bill sponsor, but another issue with the way the bill was written, the capital aspect would be based on student enrollment. The district does not allocate our capital funds based on enrollment numbers. It is solely based on need. So for example, if Miramar High School, if they required a HVAC system, AC, very important to the learning environment, they would get capital funds before another school would get for paint. There's an issue when you do it per student because we take the whole system into account, so that's why we don't divvy out our capital funds based on student enrollment, so that's probably one of the biggest issues, the way the proposal is written. Again, we're mandated to spend our capital dollars on capital projects. We have 5-year plans, very accountable. The charter school system as a whole, they don't have any kind of 5-year plan. They can use their capital dollars for teacher compensation and operating cost. We cannot. So even if any charter school were to get capital, there's no guarantee they would use it for capital. Now I'm going to turn over to the referendum since I'm just a little short on time. So the referendum that the school board went to 2018 was primarily to address teacher compensation. That was the biggest bucket, and the reason for that was, if you recall, we got 47 cents out of the BSA from the legislature. Again, I know none of you were behind that. We appreciate your support. But in Tallahassee, that session, it was 47 cents, didn't leave a lot of money. And then also we did it for teacher compensation, school safety, and mental health services. The board felt it was appropriate to share with charter schools the safety aspect. Again, they felt that was important. And out of those funds, Pembroke Pines Charter received $163,000 annually for the course of the referendum, which is 4 years. If the proposal were to go through as written, it would actually void what the voters voted for, because the language in the ballot was very specific, that we were going to share teacher compensation along with the mental health services for traditional public schools and the safety with charter schools. So the proposal would void what the voters voted for. We don't think that would be appropriate. We do value our positive relationships not only with Pembroke Pines Charter, but with all charter schools. That is why we have included them in the bond referendum and also the safety aspect of our referendum. Most districts do not include charter schools. We have, so we do value our partnerships with our charters, so that's supported by us including them in our proposals. I think that might be it. Again, it's not that we don't want to share, it's just our ability to share is very limited. There's very limited funds. We're more than happy to partner with Pembroke Pines Charter School if they want to ask for a specific legislative budget item, as long as it doesn't divert money from our schools. We have great needs in our schools, so it's not that we don't want to share, we just don't have the ability to share. And that's it. Thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Pines Charter and to the school district. Members, does anyone have any questions for either Pines Charter or for the school district? Representative Polo, you recognized for a question. And just let them know who the question is for.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. This question is for Mr. Sullivan.
From the district.
Yes, from the district. You mentioned some numbers at the very beginning. Can you, I'm sorry, and I was trying to keep track. There was, so Broward did not receive any PICO dollars, but how much were you comparing it to that
That's correct. We received 0 PICO dollars. I believe the overall funding for charter schools was over $150 million. Specifically, Pembroke Pines received $2.6 million out of the PICO funds, but PICO funds have not been allocated for traditional public schools.
Okay. Thank you for that. And I just wanted to correct. So some of us did vote for 7069. So I just wanted to clarify that not everybody was standing up against that bill. Thank you.
Members, any further questions? Please.
More of a comment.
Okay,
Chair.
members, you can make a comment or a question. It's up to you. Go ahead, Ms. Secretary.
No, obviously, y'all, the numbers are impressive. The testing results, the programs you're running, the fact that it's led by Florida State University. I don't think it's ever too early this week to get in a go Noles, beat those Canes comment. But in all seriousness, I can't help but sort of note the sad irony that a city in Broward County is having to come to us and rightly talk about the fact that it's a donor city in a donor county that's giving so much money to the state, and we're getting so little back in education and in other ways. And I don't say these comments at all negatively to Pembroke Pines. I think there is an important distinction between municipally run charter schools and others who are getting that $150 million and have other abilities to own land and no reverter language if the school should fail and things like that. So I guess you both talked about the partnership between Broward schools and the charters, and I would just really encourage that to continue. I think a line item thing might be better than the legislation that's being proposed. That's just kind of first blush for me, because there are so many inequities here. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. My daughter graduated from a virtual charter school. I am not anti-charter school. I am not anti-choice, but it has to be a fair choice. And it's not a fair choice right now for public schools, traditional public schools, as compared to charter school. I appreciate the frustration you have with regard to your tax base and how those monies are going. And I do think you should get a little more back, but I think all of Broward County should get more back. I'm sure the city of Miramar wish they had more money, and this school wishes it got more money from the district. And the key is really to increase funding, because we're an embarrassment nationally, the level of funding we do per student. And if we were just average, we'd be at $4,000 per student more. And think about all the good things everybody could do with all that money. So that's pretty much my comment, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Representative Stark.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to just make one or two brief comments, and I just want to direct this to my colleagues, because I think that in the years coming up, we're still going to be addressing issues regarding this. Pembroke Pines happens to have a extremely well-run system, and when we talk about charter schools, with the exception of Pembroke Pines, all other charter schools that we have in the state are basically run by private enterprise. The board may not be, but the entity that runs, that manages the school. And Pembroke Pines does everything from top to bottom. And I still think that from year to year, we should continue to look into ways to work on issues that they bring before us. And I just wanted to make that one comment regarding this, because this is a long process.
Thank you so much, Representative Stark. Any other comments or questions? First of all, thank you to Pines Charter and to the district for coming. And members, I thought it was important to bring both parties together in all fairness, so the delegation could hear both sides of what was happening and what had occurred. I thought it was just fair and right that Pines Charter had their opportunity to share and speak with the delegation at large. So I would ask that, because I know, John, you made mention of it, that you all were in partnership with each other with the hopes that you all connect. And I know Senator Farmer just gave an idea of doing a line item for Pines Charter, just in case that this, well, not just in case, considering that this process did not go as planned, but you all continue to partnership as possible, and members even have an opportunity to meet with them directly to find out, how we can best support the work that Pines Charter is doing currently and continue to support the school district. So thank you so much, Charlie, and thank you to all of you for coming to present to the delegation today. Thanks. Okay, sounds good. We have Mr. Jeff Marcus, who is the Chief Assistant State Attorney here for Monica Hoffhines on behalf of State Attorney Mike Satz.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Jeff Marcus, and I am the Chief Assistant State Attorney here in Broward State Attorney's Office. Very much appreciate you all taking the time to listen to our requests. There are three things that I wish to address and seek the support of the delegation. We were very proud that in August we hired a former Assistant Attorney General, Ariel Demby, to start a conviction integrity unit at our office. This unit was created to continue and formalize the office's long-term practice reviewing and investigating claims of innocence. This process we're very happy to have. We intend to have an independent review panel that will assist our office in reviewing claims of actual innocence. And these are cases that have gone through the appellate process, but new claims have come about, and they will be reviewed. And for example, retired Judge Alana Holmes has volunteered to be a part of this process, and we are just seeking support in the budget process of approximately $195,000 for additional staff. There are 4 other offices in the state that have done this, none in South Florida, state attorney's offices. If you build it, they will come, and that has been what has happened in other offices, and we expect that we will have a number of cases to review, people asking that their cases be reviewed. The second budgetary matter that I'd like to address has to do with the MSD Parkland prosecution case. As you know, it's the largest case probably ever in the state of Florida, certainly the largest in Broward County. This has been very taxing for the office. Currently, Mike Satz and I are the only 2 full-time prosecutors on the case. We have additional prosecutors that are called in when needed. Public defenders, for example, have 6 public defenders on the case. There's staff that are involved with this. It's unless you're involved in litigation like this, it's hard to understand the extent of when you have 17 deaths, 17 autopsies, all the evidence that's developed as a result just of that, 17 injured people, and not to mention all the mental health experts that are involved in the case. We have asked for approximately $1.3 million on that matter. The final matter that I wish to address with you, and we are seeking your support, that we've been working with Representative Gottlieb to change the battery statute to include prosecutors and other court personnel when they are battered. As you know, under the battery statute, there are several classes of types of people, like law enforcement officers, firefighters, and many other classes, elderly, that get the extra support that if they are battered, that becomes a felony. That doesn't apply to prosecutors. In the past, we've had a number of incidents where defendants, inmates in court are literally within spitting range of prosecutors. They've spit in their faces, their eyes. Those prosecutors have had to go to hospitals. They've had to take drugs that cause nausea, vomiting, things like that. Last month, however, was really the worst that we've seen, and maybe some of you have read about it. One of our prosecutors was handling a case against a man, and the incident was not too far from here near University, where he shot at his girlfriend 6 times. He was convicted of attempted first-degree murder with a firearm, and he faces a very lengthy prison sentence. He was brought to the courtroom even before the judge was there, He indicated to the bailiffs that he had to use the restroom. Meanwhile, he had secreted a vial into his pants or inside his prison outfit. He went to the bathroom, and when he came out, he was able to break free from the bailiffs. He ran about 15 feet towards the prosecutor and threw it at the prosecutor, literally getting all over him, even into his mouth. The table, his clothing, his computer was thrown out. And I knew from the prior incidents that this is just a battery situation. And under 784, Chapter 74, you have all of these protected status. And you should know that, and all of these I think are appropriate. One that you have also is inmates. And in a jail, if a inmate strikes another inmate, that's a felony. But if an inmate then goes to the courtroom and strikes a prosecutor, that's a misdemeanor. And we think that's an obvious oversight, and we'd ask you all to please support Representative Gottlieb's legislation and correct that. I thank you very much. If you have any questions.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions, members? Senator Thurston has a question.
Thank you for that presentation, Mr. Marcus. Let me just ask you about how the cases that would be reviewed and then 195 that you're asking for that. What exactly would that be? What would you do with those funds, and how are you determining which cases actually get reviewed?
Mr. Marcus.
Thank you, Senator, for that question. We do have an online application process, and the terms of this unit are claims of actual innocence. So we expect that when we get claims of actual innocence, we will have our investigators look into it. We'll have an attorney who will review it. There may be DNA requests, as you know, Senator. Sometimes our lab can't handle particular kinds of DNA, and it has to be sent out. Those are additional expenses, and we want to thoroughly investigate these claims. We may have to bring in witnesses. We may have to contact victims. We expect it to cause all kinds of those kind of expenses. We don't intend to have any cap on this. We want to thoroughly investigate the cases. It's our worst nightmare to convict an innocent person and have the guilty person be free. And as you know, that has happened in the past, and we recognize that, and we don't want that to ever happen again. And with the thousands of people who are prosecuted every year, we understand that those are possibilities, and those things do happen. We recognize that. So we do intend to hire additional staff, secretarial help, investigative help, and if need be, more attorneys.
Mr. Chair, with regards to the Cruz trial that you and Mr. Satz are handling, I noticed that you have a trial date of January 27th. Is that a realistic trial date? I know you talked about all the witnesses and expert witnesses. What does that look like?
Well, you have a lot of experience in this matter, and so I understand the question. As of this point, that is what Judge Scheer says is going to be the date. We realize, we're still waiting for a witness list, and whether or not there's going to be notices that you know what I'm talking about being filed, that we would have to interview their witnesses. So it's 3 months away. Things could happen. We understand that. But we do hope to get it to trial as soon as possible. It'll be almost 2 years at that point, and certainly the community is demanding it, and certainly the court is making sure that all of Mr. Cruz's rights are being protected.
Mr. Chair, one last question. With regards to the protected class that Representative Gottlieb's legislation, I don't recall seeing that bill before. Is this the first time that the State Attorneys Association is requesting this that their office be included in the class of individual?
As far as I'm aware of, it is. What I wanted to add, and if you'll allow me, is that in regard to prosecutors, there's an award given out every year to the most outstanding prosecutor in the state. It's called the Gene Berry Award. Gene Berry was shot down at his house by the wife of somebody that he prosecuted. And what we're asking is that it's not just in the courtroom, that if it's a knowing attack on a prosecutor, no matter where they are, like what happened to Gene Berry, he was shot because he was a prosecutor, that it would apply in those cases too. And certainly court personnel, that anything that happens to them, we would support that as well too.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Mr. Marcus.
Thank you very much.
Okay, members, just a time check. It's 6 o'clock. We do have a time to be out of the auditorium, so we're going to go to our local bills, and we're going to move through these so we can, we do have two special remarks, one from Broward College. We have the president here, and also Ms. Stacey Hoagland from the Autism Society of Florida. And I want us to make sure we get out in a good time. So we're going to start with the first local bill with the Broward County Clerk, and it's Representative Jacobs, who is the bill sponsor, but the bill is being presented by Representative Bobby DuBose. Representative DuBose, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of Representative Jacobs, I'll present this County local bill, point out a couple of points in regards to this local bill. Amendment 10 bundled 4 issues together. First, legislative start date. 2, Office of Domestic Security. 3, Department of Veteran Affairs. And 4, the requirement that all counties elect constitutional officers. A sentence was deleted that affected Broward County's financial oversight of county funds. And during the Constitutional Revision Commission hearing, the makers of the amendment recognized the problem and suggested Broward County do exactly what this bill does. More specifically, this bill gives Broward voters the ability to keep the form of government, which has not raised the millage rate in 2 decades, boasts a AAA bond rating, and has a $4.8 billion budget. The county also operates the fastest growing airport in the country, a seaport with the 3rd highest number of cruise passengers, and a $7.8 billion impact from tourism. This bill simply allows voters to decide whether to keep the system that has been successful for almost 46 years. Mr. Chair, that's the local bill.
Thank you so much, Representative DuBose, for the bill. Member, are there any questions? Question?
Yes, Mr. Chair, just one question. Is this bill identical to last year's bill?
Representative DuBose?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, no, not identical to last year's bill. There's revisions made, but I'll allow the county to speak to the differences.
Okay, when it comes to public.
Yeah, Marty
Go ahead,
Cassini,
please.
Broward County. And we have Dwayne from the clerk's office here. We actually have a little bit of a wrinkle to the bill. This year, the clerk and the county are currently discussing how we would essentially look at moving the recording function over to the clerk. So as this bill moves on, we can put this on the ballot. We've had some conversations privately, and so obviously we're here to stand in solidarity that we're both good to go this year.
Thank you so much, Mr. Cassini.
Yes.
Members, are there any other questions?
One question.
There's another question, Senator Thurston. Oh,
Well,
Senator, what?
yeah, I didn't, just to, yeah, it's a question. So am I hearing that the county and the clerk's office are working together this year to make this happen?
Hi, I'm Dwayne Sinclair. I'm the Chief Audit Executive for the clerk. I'm here. Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Dwayne Sinclair. I'm the Chief Audit Executive for the clerk, Brenda D. Foreman. And thanks to Senator Farmer, we've had lengthy discussions with the county over the bill. There were some tweaks that we think are Broward specific and tailored specifically for Broward, so we can present a unified approach to the public. And so the issue with county records is addressed in a local bill, and the clerk supports that version.
Senator, thank you. Senator Farmer?
I just want to thank both of you, particularly the county, for taking another look at this, and collaboration seems to be the word of the day today, talking about the charter schools and now about this, and good work, you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, you sound like you're underwater, Senator Farmer. So, tickle, Mike. So are there any other questions, members? Any public testimony? You good? Yeah. Okay. Roll call on the vote, please. Nope. Nope. Yes, on the clerk bill. She need a microphone.
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Lamarca, Representative DuBose.
Yes.
Representative Omfroy. Representative Jacobs, Representative Daley.
Yes.
Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Senator Thurston,
Yes.
Chair Representative Jones.
Yes.
Show the bill passes.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I just want to say that I would like to make sure that Senator Farmer keeps that malfunctioning microphone.
Duly noted. Keep the mic, Senator Farmer. Next local bill, Broward County Housing. Presenter is Representative Gottlieb, but Representative Gottlieb is not here, so Representative Dan Daly will present on his behalf. Representative Daly, you are recognized to present the local bill.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. I'm merely introducing the bill on Representative Gottlieb's behalf. This bill creates the Broward County Affordable Housing Improvement Act, and it's going to be presented by Marty Cassini from Broward County, and Mr. Cassini has said that he'll be brief.
Okay, thank you. You recognize.
Currently, Marty Cassini, Broward County, Intergovernmental Affairs. Currently, you see this set up in Miami-Dade County where they're able to generate an extra amount of dock stamp taxes that goes to help with affordable housing. This does the same thing, which essentially is a 45 cents add-on to dock stamps, and that would go immediately into the Broward County Affordable Housing Trust Fund that the voters passed in 2018 as part of charter review. And if you have any specific questions on it, we have Ralph Stone from the county here who deals with Broward housing. And any other questions we might be able to...
Thank you so much. Are there any questions, members? Any public testimony? We do have public testimony from Ms. Gail Geese. Gail, you're recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. I'm Gail Giese with the NAMI Advocacy Group of Broward County. NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, is the largest grassroots organization to improve the lives of those with mental illness and their families. And our greatest need is safe, affordable, supportive housing for mentally ill people with extremely low incomes. Broward County's affordable housing crisis has adversely affected our most vulnerable populations, such as those with serious mental illness who must have a permanent, safe place to live in order for mental health treatment to be effective, so that they might recover and lead productive lives in the community that is made safer by providing proactive quality treatment as soon as symptoms arise. Many of our NAMI members with SMI live at home with their families, but as parents age, we ask, where will my child live and who will take care of him when I die? The Broward Next Land Use Policy, thank you very much, item 2.36.1 says that local governments must consider the impacts to several vulnerable populations, such as the homeless and those with chronic health conditions, including severe mental illness. Due to low income, stigma, and difficulties in daily functioning, people with SMI generally cannot compete for market rental housing. With affordable supportive housing, the community enjoys significantly decreased costs of care and reduced homeless rates. People are integrated into the community, reducing stigma. Ability Housing in Duval County had the Solution That Saves program that compared a period of 2 years before providing housing to 2 years after housing was provided and found significant savings. Hospital costs down 58%. Emergency services down 43%, inpatient costs down 59%, cost of outpatient services down 64%. Arrests and booking costs down 65%. Cost of days in jail down 72%. So in short, there was an outstanding improvement in the lives of individuals while saving taxpayer money. By authorizing the levy of a discretionary surtax to establish and finance affordable housing in our county, this bill would help many vulnerable populations, could allow nonprofit behavioral health providers to acquire housing assistance financing from the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to aid in the purchase of condo units, which would be rented at lower rates to clients with SMI. Also, the creation of more affordable housing units throughout the county would enable these behavioral health organizations, including the South Florida State Hospital, to discharge clients into permanent rather than temporary housing, because recovery does not have a timeline.
Thank you. So, just if you wrap it up just real quick.
Okay, I can go real fast. Line 176 of the bill says that land may be acquired from the county to establish a residential housing project, such as NAMI's vision for supportive housing. Lastly, Broward's AHTF might provide gap funding for supportive housing projects for people with disabilities that have won bids from Florida Housing Finance Corporation. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your support of this bill.
Thank you, Ms. Giese. Thank you so much. Members, are there any, yes, you recognize.
Mr. Chair, if I can just mention that part of the intent here is to keep some of that affordable housing money here in Broward rather than having the Sadowski situation. And Rep. Gottlieb sends his regrets. He had trial this afternoon, and that's why he's not here. So with that, I was on the bill.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Representative Daly. Representative Geller had a question. Representative Geller, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is this on? Okay. Let me just say, you know, I mean, obviously this is a good idea, but I really just want to particularly thank the representative from NAMI for speaking, for the tremendous work that you do, and just, you know, emphasize, members, this is a constant struggle for people. There are people in this situation often have just simply no place to turn, and they end up homeless on the streets and even further victimized. So this is a great bill. It's a great idea. And I just hope that these monies going into this local trust fund aren't subject to the same kind of sweeps that the affordable housing money is at the state level, which is a disgrace. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Geller. And Representative Dan Daly have already closed on the bill. Roll call.
On the Broward housing?
On the Broward County housing.
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Rep. Lamarca, Representative DuBose.
Yes.
Representative Umfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly,
Yes.
Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston,
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes.
We have 10.
Thank you. Bill passes. Thank you so much. Now we will have Broward County Senior Services presented by Representative Stark. Representative Stark, you recognize.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have given out everybody some talking points on this particular bill, and I'm just going to read from the first three to begin with, make a few brief comments, and I think we have a few people who want to speak on behalf. But the purpose of this bill is to create and finance services to seniors throughout Broward County. This creates the Senior Services Council of Broward County that will be tasked with providing and maintaining preventative, developmental, treatment-based, and rehabilitative services for the general welfare of seniors. The county electors must approve this, so this only happens by referendum, and every 12 years there will be another referendum to continue this. This is similar in process to the Children's Services Council, and in honor of Edith Letterberg, the bill is named in honor of her, the Edith Letterberg Senior Services Act. And just in closing, just want to speak that in the United States of America, approximately 11,000 people each day age into Medicare. And Broward County is, I have heard this, I'm going to paraphrase Senator Nan Rich, who has said that we are in for a senior tsunami, in particular in Broward County. and that the resources that we currently have are already beginning to be stretched very thin. And so the purpose of this bill is to alleviate that and create something for the future. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Representative Stark. Representative Stark, having present the bill. Member, are there any questions? Are there any public testimony? There are a lot of individuals signed up to speak. Everyone will be recognized for 2 minutes. We'll start with Charlotte Mather-Taylor.
Good evening, everyone.
You recognize. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm Charlotte Mather-Taylor, Executive Director of the Aging and Disability Resource Center, also known as the ADRC. The ADRC was passionately led for over 40 years by Edith Lederberg. It is Edith's name that is attached to this local bill. Edith believed that Broward County could and should do more to help its senior population. During the year, the ADRC contributes approximately $23 million in funding to help support the needs of our seniors. What we do matters, but here is what we also see in our work. That our diverse senior population in Broward of over 437,000 is growing in numbers. In fact, the fastest growing age cohort, according to the Chamber of Commerce, is the over 80 population. Broward's 80 to 84 population is projected to grow by more than 73% over the next 12 years. Though coming from many different states and countries, this aging population shares a common desire to remain in their homes and maintain their independence for as long as possible. But to do so means we have to realize that there are many needs in which seniors struggle. Maybe it is paying for their electric bill, or maybe it is just changing their light bulbs. Maybe it is fixing their plumbing or help getting to an appointment. Things we take for granted, such as food and transportation, are not givens for our seniors. Over 40% of Broward seniors worry about food and have to make choices between food and medicine, particularly at the end of the month when their Social Security checks are spent. Even more importantly, as we focus on social determinants of health, is the recognition of the growing social isolation of our seniors. Isolation is a big issue, and as a combination of physical aging and the growing epidemic of memory disorders impact our seniors, they grow more and more alone. The dollars raised from this funding will address each of these issues and more. This isn't just about more taxes. This is about an investment in our senior population, in much the same way that this delegation chose to invest in our children through the Children's Services Council ad valorem tax. This investment is more than about quality of life. It is about dealing with the reality that seniors left without help consume far more medical care through frequent trips to the emergency room. Left alone, they feel compelled to sell their homes, to qualify for Medicaid, and to seek structured living arrangements at an increased cost to the taxpayers of Broward County. The Edith Lederberg bill began as a compassionate outreach to help seniors, but is also a wise investment by our communities to create an environment in which our seniors can continue to live life on their terms.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much, Charlotte.
May I say one thing? Senator Rich had to leave early. She was here to speak. She asked me to share with her her strong support for this bill and also the bill that you previously approved, the Broward County Housing Bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Next, we have Jay Schechter, who's here. And I'm sorry, the speakers, if I have to speed you up, only because we have to be out in certain times. Thank you. Mr. Schechter, you recognize.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and delegation members. I will stick to the 2 minutes starting now. My name is Jay Schechter. I'm the Director of Community Services, the Carl Schechter Southwest Focal Point Senior Center, Transportation, Veteran Services, and Housing for the city of Pembroke Pines. So I bring a unique global picture to this. I'm also the son of an Alzheimer's mother who was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. I ask for your support for the Edith Schaffer-Lederberg Senior Services Act because this important legislation would create an independent taxing district to fund and provide services throughout Broward County. Just a few of the emergencies that ADRC and the senior centers face each day: mental health care, transportation, housing, nutrition, and Alzheimer's care. The Southwest Focal Point has over 600 people a day who come through our doors, and we're growing faster than we can keep pace with. We transport 34,000 seniors trips each and every year. It's not enough. We manage over 1,000 apartments that Pembroke Pines built and manages. It's not enough. We have dedicated veterans programs. It's not enough. With 2 million people expected to be living in Broward by 2020, it's clear that the amount of funding is not enough. ADRC, the focal points, and all a social services provider in Broward are a 2 pound bag with 5 pounds of work stuffed into it. Money trickles down, but it's not enough. One of the silent killers is Alzheimer's disease. Currently, 560,000 Floridians live with Alzheimer's disease, and it's projected to be 720,000 by 2025. The cost will increase by 31%. I have 3 sisters who moved to Pembroke Pines to take care of my mother. I have a strong father who's been married for 68 years and takes care of my mom. We have all the resources, power, and money, and we are overwhelmed, heartbroken, and bear witness to my family collapsing due to exhaustion. I beg you, please, we have the infrastructure, we can meet these challenges. We need your support on this tax bill. Hurricanes and rising water levels are only teardrops in the storm of aging that's coming to Broward. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Frida Caldas. You recognized for 2 minutes.
Yes. Good afternoon, I should say evening, Mr. Chairman and committee members. My name is Frida Caldas. I have worked with the elderly population in Broward County, administering senior centers and adult daycare centers for over 40 years. I am currently semi-retired, but still working with elders at Jewish Family Services of Broward County as a community resources coordinator on a 2-year grant-funded project where we partner with Coast to Coast Legal Aid of Broward County. We are assisting low-income elderly who are facing potential eviction or foreclosure on their homes. These clients, along with many others in the community, are facing many hardships and often unable to afford their basic needs such as housing, food on their tables, medication, and more. As the committee is more than likely aware, there aren't enough dollars available to support all the agencies and organizations that support senior citizens. Many of these organizations rely on federal, state, and local government funds, as well as grants and fundraising efforts. We are finding that the funds are shrinking and the overwhelming needs with this population are increasing. Moving forward with the creation of a countywide independent special district to provide and fund senior services throughout Broward County, which will be known as the Senior Services Council of Broward County, can be an excellent opportunity to work towards helping the older adults in our community. We have all seen that this concept works, evidenced by the Children's Services Council created many years ago. Millions of dollars per year have been raised through this entity, and organizations receiving their support have been able to make a difference in the lives of so many children and given them so many opportunities to succeed. With over 400,000 older adults residing in Broward County and approximately 1,000 frail elders on a waiting list for much-needed services, why not do the same for our seniors? Don't they deserve to live the remainder of their lives in dignity? Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you so much, Ms. Caldas. Next up, we have Vice Mayor Brian Johnson, City of West Park. You recognize for 2 minutes.
Mr. Chair and members of the delegation, good evening. Thank you again for allowing me to come before you. This is another one of those critical issues, just like affordable housing at your last meeting, where 2 of my passions, Vice Mayor of the great City of West Park and CEO of the Minority Builders Coalition, converge on this issue. City of West Park is only 14 years old, and yet we've been contributing as a fair share city to the local senior services for 11 years. And my organization, Minority Builders Coalition, has been one of the partners in the social senior services network, providing the minor home repair for 35 of those 40 years. So I'm here to ask for your support. Thank you, Rep. Stark, for presenting this bill. And Broward County has been a pioneer on these types of issues before. In 2000, Broward County was 3rd in the nation, in the state, to develop an independent taxing district for children's services. We're looking to be first for senior services. We expect that when you get to Tallahassee, which we will appreciate the fact that we anticipate a yes here, but when you present this bill in Tallahassee, it should be an easier sell, because here's the point. If all of us just keep having birthdays, there may come a time that we too may be dependent upon a senior services network, and we definitely need one that has a dedicated source of revenue that can be predictable, that can be sustainable, and that can be scalable. So we hope that you approve this local bill coming out of Broward County, and we urge you to support and encourage your colleagues in Tallahassee to do the same. Thank you much.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor Johnson. Next, we have Shelley Greenberg. Donna DeFranzo. Ms. DeFranzo, you're working out for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Representative Jones and members of the Broward Legislative Delegation. My name is Donna DeFranzo. I'm the Director of the Department of Active Aging for the City of Deerfield Beach, Northeast Focal Point. I have had the honor to work in partnership with the Department of Elder Affairs and the Aging and Disability Resource Center for over 30 years to provide community-based services such as transportation, health support, recreation, counseling, caregiver training and support, education, adult daycare, and intergenerational programs for seniors and individuals with Alzheimer's disease. We have been able to improve the quality of their life, promote independence, and delay premature institutionalization. Even with all the wonderful work that we are able to accomplish, there are still so many more seniors, caregivers, and families that need our help. Currently, older adults make up 22.5% of Broward's population, nearly 430,000 residents. Broward County has the fastest growing 85-plus population in the state. Florida has over 560,000 individuals living with Alzheimer's disease, the second highest in the nation behind California. Nearly 6,500 Broward seniors are currently on wait lists for elder services. We can do better. With additional funding from the Senior Services Taxing District, we can help the growing number of seniors, especially frail elders, combat chronic illnesses, loneliness, boredom, social isolation, hunger, and suicide. We can provide caregivers with the necessary resources so their caregiving burdens and stress levels are decreased and they can continue to work. I leave you today with 2 quotes to ponder. Neurologist Dr. Luria said, "People do not consist of memory alone. They have feeling, will, sensibility, moral being. It is here that we may touch them and see a profound change." And Gandhi said, "The true measure of any society can be found in how it treats its most vulnerable populations." The time is now. The time is now to make a true difference by allowing the Senior Services Taxing District to appear on the November 3rd, 2020 ballot for the voters to make the choice for much-needed funding to help sustain the lives of seniors in Broward County. Thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you so much, Mr. Franzo. Mr. Evan Goldman.
Good evening, Chairman Jones, members. My name is Evan Goldman, Vice President at the Jewish Federation of Broward County. I'm here in support of the Senior Services Council bill because our Jewish community has an unwavering commitment to our senior population. Broward County is home to the 3rd largest population of Holocaust survivors in the world, behind Israel and New York City. Together with our Dignity and Aging partners, the Community Foundation of Broward and the United Way, we recently awarded $700,000 to address the impact of isolation on seniors, in addition to $500,000 of Federation support. But I'm also here because for 11 years I served as a professional at the Children's Services Council of Broward County, the finest local district in our state. The CSC was created because the needs of our children exceeded our community's ability to care for them. And to be sure, with a silver tsunami on the horizon, a similar situation exists today. Now, others have talked about the individual impact of this bill. I'd like to talk about the economic impact of the Senior Services Council. Consider this: CSC funding creates 1,600 full-time equivalent positions in our community. A Senior Services Council would mirror CSC's commitment to agency capacity building, providing a true partnership between smaller agencies, many of them minority-led, and the new council. Emerging agencies would have expanded access to government funds by investing public dollars into local senior programs. Broward County can reduce the dependence on very, very limited state and federal funds. Thank you. I salute Representative Stark for bringing this forward, and I urge your strong support. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goldman. Mr. Stephen Ferrante. Karen Diaz. Ms. Diaz, you're recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Jones, committee, and all members attendees. My name is Karen Diaz, Project Director at the Northwest Focal Point Senior Center, located in Margate. We serve adults 60 years and over, mainly living in the northwest quadrant of Broward County. The center's mission is to improve older adults' quality of life by offering recreational, educational, and social service activities, and by providing support services to all adults, including special services for those with physical and cognitive impairments. The Northwest Focal Point has over 1,000 registered members, and we serve between 200 to 250 older adults on a daily basis with transportation, warm meals, and activities. Isolation is poised to become one of the most serious health issues faced by older adults. It is proven that socialization makes a huge impact in the individual's life. At any age, it is important to stay active to avoid major health issues. Here's where the senior centers and adult daycare centers make a difference. Older adults start taking a class and learn about other services that are available to them. It is not about a person taking a class or participating in a class. It is about building a camaraderie and a support service, sharing information and learning something new. Life takes turns. Your parents age and get sick. You lose a parent, you lose a spouse. You fall and you don't recover as expected. These are real life situations. Counseling service, for example, guides individuals through the aging process, denial phase, and comfort older adults in emotional distress. It is important for us to receive that funding, and we kindly ask you to support the Edith Schaefer Letterberg Social Service Act. It will make a difference, and one day you or your family will be on those paths. So thank you, and please support the bill.
Thank you so much, Ms. Diaz. Mr. Peter Caldis, you recognize for 2 minutes.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm Peter Caldis. I'm the CEO of the South Florida Institute on Aging, or SOFIA. We're a think and act tank that has been empowering people to thrive as they age for the last 55 years. We are an organization that teaches technology to seniors. We teach workforce skills. We also provide caregiving and volunteer opportunities and work with nearly 1,000 seniors annually. I moved to Florida a few years ago and was surprised to learn that Florida hasn't led the nation in funding seniors in need, despite having the reputation of being the center of aging. And while Florida's businesses should take credit for innovating long-term care solutions or offering insurance plans that pay members who receive certain community services, that's just not enough to support the overwhelming senior needs. And philanthropy, while extraordinarily generous, is not yet enough. Do you know that less than 2% of all private philanthropy goes to aging issues? And that number has not changed in the last 20 years, despite the doubling of our older American population. So how can we support members of our community like Maria, who's from Miramar, who finds herself socially isolated after her husband she cared for 60 years has died? She's now sitting on our caregiver wait list of nearly 100 people. And how do we support Dorothy, who's from Pompano Beach, who literally at 75 years old is couch surfing because she can't afford affordable housing? Our community needs the government to help and step up here. Florida recently earned AARP's designation of being an age-friendly state, but that means we have to commit to innovating and implementing new strategies. We can only succeed if business, philanthropists, and government do that. And I think that this local bill will support that effort. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caldis. Ms. Darlene Brown-Ponder. Ms. Brown-Ponder, you recognize for 2 minutes.
Hi, my name is Darlene Brown-Ponder. I'm a registered nurse. I'm a former caregiver, and I'm the owner of Tender Loving Care Adult Day Health Center in Pompano Beach. I'm here to ask the delegation to support the senior service local bill. I have been in business for over 17 years. Caregivers have the hardest, most unappreciative, and unrecognized job in the world. Many participants died before they entered my adult day center because they were on the waiting list for many years. There are times when the caregivers were so desperate for help and had no money, I would admit their loved ones in my adult day care, almost free, just to prevent them from putting them in a nursing home or the caregiver becoming ill. Pompano Beach is considered one of the highest poverty areas for seniors in Broward County. Last year, I had a caregiver that was on dialysis. Although she was sick, although she was ill, she did her best trying to take care of her husband. She had no family and no friends. The only person she had was me. Her husband was on the long-term Medicaid wait list for many years. Currently, there are 6,506 people on the wait list for services. This same caregiver went into the hospital for a procedure. Because she had no one, the hospital had to admit her husband as well. When I saw her health declining, I knew she was desperate, that she desperately needed help, and she was in a crisis. I called APS to see if they can help her, but she did not meet the criteria. They told me to tell her to call DCF. She called DCF, and they told her that they couldn't help her. For a week, I tried to call her because she was unable to drive. I finally called the dialysis center. They told me that she had missed a couple of days, and they had the police to come out to her home. The police found her dead in her bed, and her husband, who had Alzheimer's, walking around not knowing what had happened. He was placed in a nursing home. Could this have been prevented? I don't know. If she had gotten the services she may have been able to take care of herself and her husband. Please support this bill. I feel that the senior services local bill will help a lot of seniors to have a better quality of life and die with dignity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Brown Ponder. Ms. Gail Weisberg. You recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for letting me speak to you. You've heard statistics. That's not who I am. I run the Daniel Cantor Senior Center. My name is Gail Weisberg, and I'm going to be 75 years old. I'm a senior, the ones you're talking about, but I'm lucky because I have a profession and I have people that support me. The average age at the Cantor Center is over 80. We have 100-year-olds bouncing off of one another all the time, and they're wonderful. And you know why? Because they have a place to be and the reason to get up every morning. I'm asking you, all of you, to think about, you look rather young to me, most of you, but think about your cousins and your aunts and your uncles, and I want you to think about what's going to make their day better. Hopefully, they have the support and love of loved ones, but maybe they don't. Maybe they have dementia. Maybe they need a place. Maybe they're isolated. Think about them. We're not asking for your money. We're just asking for you to allow the people of Broward County to vote. I know seniors aren't sexy, but in some ways we really are. Thank you.
Hey. Good way to end there. All presenters have presented. Would you like to close on your bill? Oh, sorry. Oh, go ahead, Representative Giller. Who is that? I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to take a moment and thank Representative Stark for his visionary leadership in bringing this bill forward. It's truly a tremendous accomplishment, and we're all proud of the fact that we may be the first in the state to do this, and I think Representative Stark should be recognized by that for that.
Thank you, Representative
And
Geller.
I want to take a moment and thank all of these very passionate speakers for taking their time to come up. And I wish Charlotte good luck in filling very big shoes. I'm sure you'll do a terrific job there. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. And thank you to the speakers. Representative Stark, would you like to close?
Yes, just a moment. Thank you all for coming up. Is this thing on?
It's on.
Okay, and having something to say. Just want to remind everybody, I mean, look, I've got a father that's, if he makes it to March, he's going to be 100 years old. And my mother is 91 and she takes care of him. And so I know right up front and center what it's like to have aging parents and what the need is for these services in Broward County. And I just want to remind everybody, sometime in your life, everybody will be a caregiver. And I ask you all for your positive support on this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Representative Stark. Having closed on the bill, Andrea, can you call the roll?
On the Senior Services Council bill?
Yes.
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston, Chair Jones.
Yes.
That's unanimous.
Thank you so much. And once again, thank you all for coming to speak today. Thank you very much. The bill passes. We're now going to move to Memorial Health Care System presented by Representative Rodriguez. And members, just so you know, it's 6:40. We do have some time. Thank you, John Sullivan, for letting us do this. And so we're going to move to this bill, and we're going to move this as quick as possible. Memorial Health Care, Representative Rodriguez.
Good evening, Chair Jones,
Good
Vice
evening.
Chair Thurston, and members of the delegation. The bill that I'm presenting this evening is in regards to the South Broward Hospital District, also known as Memorial Healthcare System. They are requesting a local bill to amend Chapter 2004-397 of its charter. The local bill would expand Memorial's power to encumber assets, confirm that Memorial may acquire, establish, own, construct, develop, lease, equip, operate, manage, and maintain hospitals, public facilities, and services both within and outside the boundaries of the Memorial system. That is the bill, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, Representative Rodriguez. Representative Rodriguez, having presented the bill. Members, are there any questions? If there are any public testimony? Yes, President Aurelio Fernandez from Memorial Healthcare System, you are recognized.
Thank you, Chairman.
No problem.
Representative Jones and Vice Chair Senator Thurston and members of the Broward legislation. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this afternoon on our local bill for the South Broward Hospital District. I would like to express my appreciation to the presenter of our bill, Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez, and to all of you for the consideration and support of this important bill for the South Broward Hospital District. Our solid financial base allows Memorial to help shoulder the financial burden of providing a high level of uncompensated care. It also enables the development and support of leading-edge facilities and services, recruitment of outstanding employees, and the ability to uphold its mission as the safety net hospital, healthcare provider in South Broward County. This local bill is an importance to our district as it is significant to ensure that we acquire express authorization by the legislature given the recent repeal of Certificate of Need, requirements, and other marketplace factors. Also, being able to compete in the marketplace is essential so that Memorial can preserve its current revenue streams and to have the ability to develop new ones. Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, and members, we humbly ask for your support of our local bill. Thank you for your support.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fernandez. Members, are there any questions? Seeing that there are no questions, is there any debate on the bill? Seeing that there's no, Aurelio was public testimony. Yes. Okay.
Just ask the record to show that there's no one who's come in opposition to this bill. Thank you.
Representative Geller would like the record to show that no one is here in opposition to the bill. Are there any other public testimony or questions? Seeing none, can we call the roll?
On Memorial Healthcare
on
System.
Memorial Healthcare System.
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston, Chair Jones.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you so much. Bill passes. We will now go to the just kidding. Broward Health, Representative Daly, you are recognized to present your bill.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. This local bill is on behalf of the North Broward Hospital District. It amends certain provisions in their charter. With the repeal of Certificate of Need last year, this protects our safety net hospitals and levels the playing field for our healthcare providers. And this is similar in language to Memorial's bill that just passed. The CEO, Gino Santorio, is here and with staff as well to answer any questions. That is the bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, there is any public testimony. We do have one public testimony from the President and CEO for Broward Health, Mr. Gino Santorio. You're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, Delegation. I'd just like to thank you for your longstanding support of the safety nets, particularly Broward Health as one of the nation's 10 largest public health systems. We have over 8,000 employees, 1,700 affiliated physicians, and we serve about 1.3 million residents in the northern two-thirds of the county. We've reduced the millage rate 8 years in a row. This will, similar to Memorial, allow us to continue to compete and serve the community. Last year we produced $344 million in community support while continuing to improve the quality at Broward Health. So with that, I'll defer the rest of my time for any questions so as not to delay the delegation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions, members? Any comments? Comment? That's all the public testimony. I'm sure you want the record to show that there is no opposition to the bill, right?
That is precisely right. Thank
Yes,
you, Mr.
sir.
Chair.
Let the record reflect that. Seeing none, can we call the roll on Broward Health?
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston, Chair Jones.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Show the bill passes, and I apologize, Representative Daly. I did not give you opportunity to close on your bill.
Waive close, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Senator Farmer.
Mr. Chair, yeah, if I could just be shown voting in the affirmative on the Broward County Senior Services local bill.
That you were out.
Conversation when we voted. Yeah.
Got
Thank
you. Can we let the record show that Senator Farmer is one to vote in favor of the Broward County Senior Services bill?
So noted.
Thank you. Next, we have the Coral Springs Improvement District by Representative Daly. You're recognized.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. If I may, I'm going to make general comments about the next 4 bills. We'll hear them all separately and do roll call separately, but this will serve as my presentation of all 4.
For all of them?
Yeah.
So, okay, perfect.
If that works.
Yes, sir.
Did I just become the most popular guy in the room?
You did.
All right. So this first one, colleagues, this may look familiar because it's been up before you the last 2 years. It was filed previously by Representative Jacobs. To give you a little bit of background, the United States required property ownership to vote starting in about 1789. The last state to do away with that was North Carolina in 1856, and yet here in the state of Florida, there is still a mechanism where property owners are required to own their property and get 1 vote per acre of ownership versus 1 person, 1 vote. So this is the same legislation that has passed favorably out of this delegation on 2 previous occasions. It essentially changes the voting method for all of these districts, brings them into the 21st century, and again requires that there would be 1 person, 1 vote. We have been working with the districts, the different districts, basically to no avail. We've had some good conversations. We've attempted some compromise. The only difference between this bill and the bills that have passed previously is we've gone ahead on our side and added compromise language that would require that this go into effect not until 2024 rather than this following year. So on our behalf. That was kind of a good faith gesture to the district, showing that we wanted to work with them, and they didn't agree to that either. So I wanted to bring it to all of your attention, ask for your favorable consideration, and I know that Coral Springs City Commissioner Josh Simmons is here, and I believe will speak on the measure, and I know many of you spoke with Candace Eriks, who represents the City of Coral Springs, as well on this issue. Thank you for your time. That is the bill, Mr. Chair.
Thank you so much, Representative Dan Daly. And just for a point of clarification from the attorney, Representative Daly has spoken for all 4 of the bills. Do we bring them up, vote for them separately, each one, correct? Okay, sounds good. All right, so are there any questions to Representative Bill on the Coral Springs Improvement District first? Seeing no questions, are there any public testimony? We have Commissioner Joshua Simmons, City of Coral Springs. Commissioner, are you going to speak for all 4?
Yes, all 4. Yes, sir.
Okay, you recognize
Yes,
for 2
Mr.
minutes.
Chair. So, good evening, everyone, members. After taking a very long and perilous journey to arrive to you all tonight, I bring my greetings and good tidings and offer my humble support for these local bills. I come from the beautiful city of Coral Springs, where we have everything under the sun. However, we do have a problem where people do not know, residents do not know who is in control of their water districts. We have 5 water districts, and oftentimes there are erroneous charges, or there are leaks or breakdowns, and residents do not know who they should go speak to. And oftentimes that comes to our desk. While I am happy to field those calls, I think it is important that residents know who they are actually voting for. The voting system that these water districts have is outdated and undemocratic. And so I hope that you all will support this bill, because as you all know, we need to protect our democracy at all levels, at all costs, no matter how small the voting population is. So that's my time. I'm keeping it short.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Joshua Simmons. Member,
Mr. Chair?
Yes, please.
I just wanted Commissioner Simmons to know he took that long ride, but only Gary Farmer gets to wear white shoes on the floor of the Senate.
Let the record show. Members, are there any other comments about Senator Farmer's shoes? Seeing none, you have closed?
Wave closed, Mr. Chair.
Wave closed. Thank you so much. Can we call the roll on the Coral Springs Improvements District?
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston, Chair Jones.
Yes. Bill passes. Now we're going to go to North Springs Improvement District. Representative Daly has already presented for all the bills. The only speaker is Commissioner Joshua Simmons, who has also said that he is good. Are there any questions on the North Springs Improvement District members? Seeing none, public testimony has already happened. Can we call the roll on North Springs Improvement District?
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Representative Stark? Okay. Vice Chair Thurston?
Yes.
Chair Jones?
Yes. Thank you. Bill passes. Now we're going to go to number 8, which is the Pine Tree Control District. Representative Daly has already presented. Member, are there any questions? Seeing that there are no questions, public testimony was done by Commissioner Joshua Simmons, who spoke for all the bills generally. Is there any debate on the Pine Tree Water Control District? Seeing none, can we call the roll on the Pine Tree Water Control District?
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston.
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes. Bill passes for the Pine Tree Water Control District. The last local bill, we have the Sunshine Drainage District by Representative Dane Daly, who has already presented for all the bills in general. Are there any questions? Seeing that there are no questions on the Sunshine Drainage District, the only public testimony was Commissioner Joshua Simmons, who's spoken for all the bills in general. Is there any debate on the Sunshine Drainage District? Seeing that there's no debate, can you call the roll on the Sunshine Drainage District?
Senator Rader, Senator Book, Senator Farmer, Senator Brannan, Representative Williams, Representative Lamarca, Representative DuBose, Representative Omfroy, Representative Jacobs, Representative Daly, Representative Gottlieb, Representative Jenny, Representative Geller, Representative Pritchett, Representative Polo, Representative Stark, Representative Rodriguez, Vice Chair Thurston.
Yes.
Chair Jones.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Bill passes. Thank you so much, members. And we only have just three speakers, and who's here. And one of them in particular is we have President Gregory Hill, who's here from Broward College. And we also have some parents here from the Autism Society of Florida who have come a long way to address the delegation. And then we also have the Sadowski. My goal is to have us out at 7:15, between 7:15 and 7:20. Okay, got you. All right, so we're going to call Broward College up first to come to address the delegation. Thank you so much for coming, President Hill.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, to the delegation for the privilege of sharing with you some of the work that we're doing tonight. And so I'm going to get right to it. When I had the privilege of being appointed to this role on May 9th of 2018, during the process, I talked to our board about the great things that we had done as an institution. We have been ranked as one of the top 10 community colleges or state colleges in the nation numerous times now. We have 63,000 students. We are a proud open access institution. The cost of education at Broward College is incredibly low. It's about $117 a credit. You can get your associate's degree for $7,000, and if you get your bachelor's degree, you can get that for a total of $15,000 at Broward College. And then beyond that, our debt is incredibly low for our students, and our students are coming out with their AS or BS making $45,000 and $50,000+ a year. And there are a number of incredible things. Also, of course, we've been #1 in the nation when it comes to granting degrees to African American students. #1 in the nation. #2 in the nation when it comes to degrees for Hispanic students. But notwithstanding all of the accolades that we have received and continue to receive, I think we have to own some of the fault, and that is making sure that those who need us most are actually obtaining the opportunity. It's recognizing that there are so many people in our community who have the capacity but simply have not had the opportunity to attain a post-secondary education. And when I think about it, I'll just tell you one quick story and one quick data point. I remember about 1.5 years or so ago now talking to a student, actually a little longer than that, and she had walked back and forth 4 miles to go to school every day. She was hungry. She knew what the power of post-secondary education would mean to her, and she did whatever it was that she had to get it. And she is one of tens of thousands of students who are working in a way that would seem improbable for most. But for every one of those students that you think about, I can't help but think about the student who reasonably can't walk 4 miles every day to get back and forth, or they don't have a car to get back and forth, or they have multiple jobs, and that keeps them from finding the time to attain a post-secondary education, regardless of its affordability, regardless of the fact that we're an open access institution. And then you start looking at the data around this, and my colleague is going to talk to you a little bit more about this, but I'll give you one national piece of data that I find striking, and I hope that you and all the other audience members remember this. 50 years ago, the top quartile of income earners had about 40% of their children getting baccalaureate degrees, and the bottom 25% of income earners had about 6% of their children getting baccalaureate degrees. That's 50 years ago. You go forward to today, the top quartile of income earners have gone from 40% of their kids getting baccalaureate degrees to about 77 to 80% of their kids. And that's fine, that's healthy, we want to see that kind of growth. But the bottom quartile of income earners has gone from 6% of their kids getting baccalaureate degrees to a mere 9% of their kids getting baccalaureate degrees, which is essentially no growth. It is inertia. And when we talk about, and I think we're having healthy conversations nationally around the disparity in wealth, we have to make sure that that is coupled with the disparity and opportunity to attain a post-secondary education. And so as an institution that thrives on being affordable and perhaps more importantly accessible, we have to say, what part of that do we own? What are we doing to engage those who otherwise don't see the opportunity to attain a post-secondary education? And when I talk about post-secondary, it's not just degrees. We know that it's degrees, it's certificates, it's exposure. It's about making sure that the kid growing up in any given community knows that post-secondary opportunity is available to them, notwithstanding their challenges in terms of wealth or the fact that their parents didn't go to school or any other folks that would otherwise be there to advise them to do so. So with that, I want to tell you a little bit about how we are trying to address and reconcile the challenge that I've described. And with that, I welcome my colleague, Dr. Mildred Coyne.
Dr. Coyne, you can ask.
Thank you. Thank you, President Hale. So we believe everyone has the opportunity to achieve unlimited potential. But in order to do that, Broward Up aims to disrupt our traditional models of higher education because it's not been effective in mitigating generational poverty for the last 50 plus years. So we know that we need to change the narrative around how we're getting people access to quality, relevant workforce credentials, meeting them where they are with what they need. Next slide, please. We know we enjoy in Broward County a 2.8% unemployment rate right now, which is unprecedented, unheard of. It's really just something that we should be really excited about. But when we took a deep dive into our data, we see that there's 6 zip codes in Broward County that have unemployment rates between 9 and 12%. But when we look a little closer, we see that that represents 18,620 people that are unemployed in those 6 zip codes. But then another 92,154 people that have left the labor market. They're no longer participating in the workforce. They've stopped looking for work. They've given up. So we know that we have a lot of work to do. The next data point that we looked at that we felt was really critical to our mission was to look at education attainment. And that is measured by folks that are 25 to 64 that have earned an associate's degree or higher. In the United States, that represents 42.4% of the population. In Florida, that's 41.3%. In Broward, it's a little higher, 43.9%. We do better than the state and the nation. But in our 6 Broward Up communities that we've identified, that's 27%. So now, that's notwithstanding that we know that 65% of jobs today require education beyond high school. Not necessarily a bachelor's degree, but certainly a workforce credential to be aligned to the marketplace. So what this tells us is that 73% of these zip codes, of these Broward Up communities, are not competitive for 65% of the jobs that are available to people today. So we have to do better than that. So what we did with Broward Up is we identified 3 primary goals for us to focus on as a movement for our college. We are striving to increase college access and attendance. Right now, the president mentioned we have some 63,000 students at Broward College. 3,000 of them are from those 6 zip codes. We can do better than that. We also strive to improve the education attainment rates. I just talked about the 27%. We know that if we can lift up those 6 communities, 6 zip codes, that we can also lift up the Broward County education attainment level as well. And then ultimately, we want to holistically raise social and economic mobility. What that means is that we want to move our students that are in the bottom income quintiles into the 3rd and 4th income quintiles. And how are we going to do that? We've partnered with Dr. Raj Chetty from Harvard University. He's the youngest tenured professor and economics professor in Harvard's 400-year history. And we're working with him around, and his associates from Opportunity Insights. And we're working with them on a framework and metrics so that we can measure and leverage the research and the data that he's been doing around economic mobility. Last fall, we took a team from Broward College and the community and went to visit them in Harvard, and they were so excited about the movement that we've created and its potential impact on economic mobility that they decided to partner with us and share some of their data resources so that we can continue to monitor our effectiveness. So this is a dashboard slide that we have for every one of our zip codes. So you see there that this particular zip code has a 20% education attainment rate. It also shows that they have a $33,453 median household income. But really, that's not necessarily the true story, the whole story, because we know that that dollar amount is adjusted for subdivisions in that community that are much higher, and it doesn't then reflect the subdivisions in that community that are much, much lower than that $33,000 median household income. But the bottom numbers that you see on the bottom right there, those represent the employees and the students that we have at Broward College that are excited and eager to partner with us and to make a difference, a substantial difference for their friends and neighbors. So one of the first things that we did, I'm going to go quick, one of the first things that we did is when we got all this data together is then we mapped our physical locations of Broward College. And you see there's 10 locations, but they're really not penetrating those Broward Up communities. Last fall, we partnered using the Governor's Job Growth Grant. We partnered with the Urban League to start offering workforce credentials under a Broward College flag at the Urban League. Next slide, please. We then partnered with other community agencies such as the Boys and Girls Club and the Jack and Jill Children's Center to not only serve their children but to serve their parents and to serve them in underutilized or not utilized facilities that they had when they were no longer serving their children. Now they're offering classes and the partner is supporting the parents with childcare. We also have been working very closely with our municipalities. These are the first 4 that have signed on with memorandums of understanding to support skill training and workshops, but not only for residents, but also for employees. Next slide. So we've been getting great response from our municipalities. We've been really excited about their overwhelming response. Next slide. Oh, it's starting, it's building in. So this shows you now what the Broward Up penetration is just one mere year later. So we started with 1 location last fall. We're now in 8 locations this fall, and by the end of this academic year, we'll be in 15 locations, and you can see the saturation that Broward College is now visible and represented in all of these 6 zip codes, offering workforce skilled trainings in a trusted, convenient, and comfortable place for people to be. And these are just some of the classes that we're offering that afford people the opportunity free through the Governor's Job Growth Grant so that they can take a resume building skill course that's going to give them little bite-sized pieces of college so that they can grow confidence and quick wins. Last year, we served 689 students in our proof of concept model, and there you see is a picture of our flag raising that we had at the City of West Park. Chairman, so that was pretty exciting. So that was the rapid fast tour through the Broward Up movement in a little more than a year. Is there any questions that we can entertain?
Any questions?
Actually, more of a comment.
More comment from Representative Alford.
President Hale, and I believe your last name is Coney?
Coin, like a nickel.
Coin, apologies. I thank you very much for the work that you're doing. My zip codes in my district are heavily affected by the work that you're currently doing. So thank you very much for that. I'd love to get an appointment to speak with both of you. I have been trying to get an appointment and unable to find a number.
Well, we can solve that.
So I appreciate that, but thank you very much for the work that's being done, because in my conversations, I'm hearing really good things about Broward Up, so please continue to work, and I'd like to sit and speak with both of you when you have an opportunity.
Thank you. We will make sure that that happens. Thank you again.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Representative Alford, and thank you all so much. Really appreciate the work that you are doing, especially in the City of West Park and to the zip codes, all the zip codes represented here. Thank you.
So let me just make one further point. So we, as Dr. Coyne mentioned, we receive dollars to support that through the Governor's Job Growth Grant. We know that there's $40 million out there again. We're looking for about $3.5 million of that. We would love your support in working with the governor's office to get the $3.5 million so that we can continue to do the work that we're doing in these communities and inevitably expand it. We know that this year the governor is going to be seeking another $85 million to do that. And we will again be seeking resources from that fund. So we actually are looking forward to the approval of that fund. We hope that you support it, and we want to use those dollars to funnel into our communities that we know have been untouched by higher education for far too long.
Thank you so much, President Hill. Thank you. Yes.
I don't know if it's in order. We can ask our counsel, but if it is, I'd like to move that the delegation send a letter to the governor asking him to consider the request of Broward College for continuing funds from his jobs program to support this very worthy endeavor.
Is there a second? Representative Alford, second. a motion moved up by Representative Geller for a letter to come from the delegation to the governor's office to continue the funding of the $3.5 million. All in favor? Well, we can't vote because we're going to have a quorum, but we will do that.
Thank you.
Yes.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. With that being said, we're going to move quickly to Stacy Hoagland from the Autism Society of Florida. You guys are recognized for 8 minutes. I know. I want to make sure you all keep some of the delegation members here, so we still have one more presentation after for the Sadowski.
Hello, all. My name is Stacy Hoagland. I'm the president of the Autism Society of Florida. I want to thank you that are still here for remaining, because I'm kind of sad that so many have left. Because our issues are systemic, they are across the state, and they are dangerous. Some of the things that our children are finding themselves in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk real quick, and then I have some moms, and one of the moms had to leave. She has a young child with autism, and she had to get home, so she was not able to stay. And I'm sad because her story was very compelling when it comes to the safety of her child in school. So we just want to see if we can gain some support from you all. In just Broward County, we have over 6,500 children in the public school system who have autism. That is a significant number, and overall, children with disabilities in the state of Florida, we fluctuate about 15%. Particularly children with autism, there may be 6,500 of them, but those 6,500 children need a lot of services. We have a very vulnerable population. We have an elopement bill that actually Representative Jenny is sponsoring for us, so that's House Bill 79. It's a bill that basically would require our school system, when a child has eloped from a classroom, that they actually have to call 911. Right now, a child can leave a classroom and they can keep looking and looking and looking without a requirement to call 911. We want them to call 911. Restraint and seclusion. You all have worked on a bill for restraint and seclusion for a decade. We would like to see that come to fruition, where our kids cannot be mechanically restrained, secluded into seclusion rooms that have padding on walls and floors. We don't find that that is an appropriate place for children with autism or any disability. Drowning prevention, we have an appropriation that we're requesting, House Bill 2067. Children with autism drown at a rate 160 times greater than typically developing children. Our kids need to have swimming lessons, and we want to be able to provide swimming lessons and instruction to water safety instructors with that. And last but not really the biggest one is cameras in classrooms. We need cameras in classrooms. I'm sure you all have seen. One of the moms is going to speak to her personal experience with what had happened not too long ago here in Broward County, where if we would have had cameras in a classroom, some of the events and the horrific things that happened to those children may not have happened. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and welcome the other moms. We have Alenka Matos had to leave, and I just want to say that one of the things she was going to share with you guys is that her son comes home from school sometimes with bruise marks on the backs of his arms because he's being somebody is physically manhandling him in the classroom. So let's start with Wendy Keller.
Hello, my name is Wendy Keller, as she said, and I'm just a mom, an autism mom. My son Micah was diagnosed when he was 3 years old, but we knew something was different about him since the day that we met him. I cannot speak to all the safety topics individually for the disabled students, but let me just introduce you to one child with autism, and you will see why his safety and others like him need safety to be provided for them. Micah has no sense of danger or safety. And Micah isn't exactly sweet and obedient. He's nonverbal, and he has some significant behaviors. He's not really a poster child for autism, but maybe he is. In autism lingo, his behaviors are pica. He eats non-edible things. He doesn't care what it is. He elopes, he runs, and he runs fast. He didn't care that it was rush hour traffic in a major intersection. He can be physically aggressive, which is a really nice term for hitting, shoving, slapping, pinching, biting. You get the idea. and he was in diapers until 2 years ago. Oh, by the way, he's 14 years old, he's over 6 feet tall, and he weighs 190 pounds now, the last time we checked. Therapy has improved his behaviors. However, he remains totally clueless of danger, and he has trouble still responding appropriately to changes in his life. He communicates solely with an iPad and a really cool app now, and he can talk most of his needs, but he remains a risk for elopement and aggressive behavior. Thank heavens for SROs that listen to me and use the strategies that work with Micah. Thank heavens that all the unexplained scratches, bumps, and bruises that he came home with ended up being minor. Thank heavens he has always had a leisure time runner on the staff of the schools that he's attended. They were able to catch him. I can't even catch him anymore. Can you see why Micah and other kids like him need their safety needs met for them at school? Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to hear from Carrie Sullivan.
Thank you for allowing me to speak to you tonight. My name is Carrie Sullivan. My daughter was a student in that autism class at Pasadena Lakes Elementary, where the teacher and aide were allegedly verbally abusing and physically assaulting the kindergartners. There were multiple failures at multiple levels at a school that has a cover-up culture. Back in May, when this was discovered, I initially consoled myself that maybe my child was spared because she craves praise and would have been compliant to a raised voice. Then I read the police report. My child was targeted and no charges are being filed. No charges are being filed because a parent, another parent who quite honestly saved our children from further abuse, who was being ignored time and again, made an unauthorized recording that finally got action. That principal has cried to me, saying that there was no way that she could have known what was going on. There's evidence that multiple staff members knew exactly what was going on in that classroom. The staff at the school covered it up and thought because it was a room full of communication-challenged children that they could get away with it. During the first week of school this year, my daughter's new teacher, new school, was explaining the classroom rules about respecting each other and being kind. She came home from school that day and told me, in her way, that she needed to go back to kindergarten. And when I asked her why, she said she needed to go back and talk to her old teachers and tell them not to fight. My daughter knows that we adults failed her, and at age 6, felt that she needed to take action herself to tell the adults how to behave. And I could go on about the trauma that she's experiencing that we're dealing with now. And do you know how this could have been prevented? Cameras. A recording device is exactly what saved these children. Cameras should be installed in all ESE classrooms where children may not be able to verbalize for themselves and where they cannot rely on protection from others. Clearly, my daughter could not rely on the adults that I trusted to protect her. Cameras will not only protect the children, but they'll also protect the teachers and staff. I come from a family of educators. I have special education teachers in my family. I get it. And I'm deeply involved with a nonprofit here in Broward County that supports teachers. I want teachers to feel safe and supported, but we cannot allow people who do not belong in a classroom to continue harming our children just because an administration claims they had no way of knowing. Cameras will end that. Thank you.
Can we have a minute for one more? Or
Sure,
we're-
no, keep.
Okay, Khalifa?
Good evening. Thank you all so much for hearing us tonight. Some of you know me. My name's Calibra Jacobs-Reed, and you've seen me with my work, in legislation and activism in the Democratic Party. But I'm actually here tonight as the parent. I am the parent of 2 autistic boys. One is 16 and one is 5. And what I want to speak to you about tonight is what happened in 2010 to my 5-year-old. I'm sorry, my 6-year-old. At the time, we lived in a very nice community in Weston, and he attended a wonderful school with a wonderful teacher and a wonderful principal, to be honest. And that was kindergarten. And then he matriculated to first grade along with the other 7 students in his class who were all nonverbal and not able to communicate with words with their teachers. I noticed a change in my son. He stopped being excited and happy and elated about going to school. He stopped skipping in the front door and started crying when I dropped him off. And then one day he came home with bruising, not normal kid bruising. Bruising in places where you know that had to have come from an adult, because it's not somewhere that you'd see it until bath time. So I contacted the principal immediately. And in my case, the principal was actually very supportive. Went in the next day, got right on it, told me he would move my son into a different class, went back to the kindergarten teacher who was phenomenal, and said then to me, Calibra, but there's nothing I can do about the teacher because nobody can give a statement. And there's no way to actually prove what happened, even though we all knew what happened. And so Dylan went on to the kindergarten teacher's class, and she was phenomenal. And I then changed his school. I will make it very quick. But what I want to say to you here is the system has failed our children. We have laws that protect the abuser because we cannot provide a safe and secure environment in a classroom with children who cannot tell. The cameras are their voice, and we need your help. Thank you.
Can I get through the teacher, do parents first, and then we can definitely. Yeah, we will have time. We're going to hear from all the parents. All the parents. Yep, all the parents.
That is the group that we have tonight because we had one leave. And I just wanted to show you, in case you didn't notice, we all have white on. Yes. Because white is for hope. And so we hope that we have your support in protecting our children. We really, one of the moms commented to me when we all came together tonight that we don't think we have to have a reason to be here. And it is so sad for us to think that we have to come and we have to be able to ask for our children, for our schools to call 911 when they don't know where our child is, to be able to have cameras because we just sadly cannot rely upon those in some of our classrooms to treat our children with respect and dignity.
I want to add something very quickly.
Please state your name, sir.
For years, I was the chair of ACE, which is the Autism Committee for the ESC Advisory Council under the school board. And I initiated a tour of our ESC classrooms so that we could go in and check those classroom standards and make sure that there was consistency. That one particular school that was referred to today was at the top of my list of offenders of the environment that was created for these children. I went directly to the ESC director at that time and told him about my findings. This was 2 years ago. And so I feel very let down that this still happened 2 years later in this school that they were told was the worst scenario of all the schools that I saw. I just wanted to add that.
Thank you. Can you state your name real quick?
Kelly Bush.
Thank you, Ms. Bush. And so members, just so you all know, the reason why the Autism Society of Florida is here because I had the opportunity to meet with Stacy and to meet with Ms. Calibra, and I thought it was important that they address the delegation. Members, are there any, there's one more. Oh, sorry, please state your name.
Yes, hello, my name is Beisa Buil, and I'm also an intern minister locally. And my son, who is now 15 years old and is on the autism spectrum, we went through such a horrible ordeal where he went from being a friendly, loving, over touchy child to all of a sudden becoming so aggressive that he needed to be put into an EBD cluster. emotionally, behaviorally disturbed, a child who was loving, who grew up in a Buddhist and Unitarian home. And when I would ask what happened, it was always blame on the child. It was always blame how bad this child was. Yet this child had an IEP, which delineates that this child has special needs. So from that point on, this child regressed and started soiling on himself and peeing in his bed nightly because he was terrified of school. And then he was acting out in school. And that led me in my path to become a preacher and social activism, because I realized that our system is broken. We spend so much time on red tape and documenting, and I can't prove this unless somebody comes forward, that parents like myself that email are silenced, and children are then punished. And I stand before you today with these other moms in solidarity, asking that our children are the foundation of our society. And if we are penalizing, we're creating criminals or children that cannot be self-sustained in society. Thank you for hearing me out, and I hope that you will support whatever it is that we're bringing forward.
Thank you so much.
We basically just want you to, as these bills and things, because we're still working on a few, but as they come across your desks or the committees that you're on, please remember today and the faces of these moms that have come to you to seek your assistance and your support. And we do feel that the answers are out there. We just need you guys to support our kids. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, everyone's good? Everyone? The individuals who are here, we hear you, and I know I've met with you all already, but I can tell you that the members who are here on this panel, I'm sure they want to speak to you after the meeting. So if you all can just hang out and you can share with them more detail, some of the things that we spoke about.
And I gave you guys packets, so in those packets you should see information like on some of the bills that we're working on and that we have.
Okay, thank you so much, Stacey. Okay, members, our last speaker before they kick us out of Miramar High School is Milana Walter. Milana Walter? Yes.
Yes.
You recognize for 2 minutes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight, Chair and members of the delegation. My name is Milana Walter. I am an advocate for the Sadowski Coalition and a resident of the city of Miami, city of Hollywood. And I just wanted to say that, you know, we have this designation, Broward County now, of having the largest cost-burdened population in the United States, which is kind of crazy. And I've sat here and I've heard about all the efforts to make that affordable housing a priority in our county. And I'm here to just to remind you to support really getting the Sadowski funds back to where they're supposed to be. There is a Senate bill that is out now. It used to be Senate Bill 70. I'm not sure of the number now, to secure the funds, like the funds that Broward County has put together for affordable housing. We need to have that same model for Sadowski. And as you can see in the handout that I gave you, that last fiscal year we would have had $23 million in Broward County for affordable housing, but instead we got $2.6 million. So we have an opportunity with all the efforts that are already being made. And with Sadowski, we need all of the affordable housing funds. We need every dollar that we can possibly have. From what I saw from the FIU study, that we have an immediate need for 100,000 units of housing right now in order to meet the demand. So I just want to say to you, thank you for all the support that you're doing, everything that you're doing. But just do not forget, I know this whole thing with Zadowski is
Thank you.
is difficult.
Thank you so much.
All right.
We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, that concludes our Broward delegation meeting. Just the one announcement is for Broward Days that's happening January 21st to the 22nd. Our members are going to thank you for staying behind to hear the concerns of our residents. With that, we will now adjourn.